Saint John Paul II was a mystic. He dialogued with Our Lady, and had prophetic visions. Pope John Paul II was enraptured while presiding the Eucharist, some claim. Then Vatican speaker Joaquin Navarro Valls said that sometimes after praying, Pope John Paul II would fall into ecstasy, and then it was necessary to carry him by his feet from the chapel to his bed. Cardinal Giovanni Re was a direct witness of the 26.5 years of Pope John Paul II's pontificate, and he revealed the Holy Father's secret for making difficult decisions. He prayed for a long time. On May 13, 1981, the 64th anniversary of Fatima's first apparition, the saint survived an assassin's bullets in St. Peter's Square. He thanked Our Lady for her intervention, and likened himself to the bishop in white killed in the third Fatima secret. The Holy Father then entrusted the world to the Immaculate Heart on December 8, 1981, the Solemnity of Mary's Immaculate Conception, and again on May 13, 1982, 1 year after the attack, the 65th anniversary of Fatima. Because of his depth of prayer and discernment, Pope John Paul II decided in 1984 that the whole world now needed the powerful help of Our Lady to counter the errors of communist Russia. So, Saint John Paul II asked all the Catholic bishops of the Church to join him in consecrating the whole world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, with special prayers for those countries such as Russia that particularly needed her intercession. Finally, on the Solemnity of the Annunciation on March 25, 1984, St. John Paul II consecrated the world. He omitted mention of Russia, but prayed that Our Lady enlighten and bless those peoples for whom you yourself are awaiting our act of consecration and entrusting. Weeks later, on the very feast of Fatima, May 13, 1984, an explosion at the Soviet arsenal in Severomorsk destroyed 2/3 of its main fleet's projectiles. That prevented the invasion Moscow had plotted when Washington looked set to gain nuclear superiority with the planned Star Wars anti-ballistic missile system. 3 years later, on December 8, 1987, the Immaculate Conception feast, Soviet leader Konstantin Chernenko died. His successor Mikhail Gorbachev launched sweeping reforms, which led to the collapse of Soviet communism 4 years later. Sister Lucia said the 1984 consecration was accepted by God, the Soviet Union collapsed and Russia officially returned to the Christian faith. Today daily prayer and Christian instruction are required in Russian public schools. In a public ceremony broadcast throughout Russia, President Vladimir Putin and his political staff kissed the icon of Our Lady of Kazan, the holiest image of Our Lady as Queen of Russia. Pope John Paul began his pontificate in a difficult time for the world. He personally experienced what were two totalitarian, godless and inhumane systems, Nazism and communism, that deeply scarred the lives of the people of the 20th century and brought upon them untold suffering. The Holy Father did not have any army. He faced challenges that could cause fear and a feeling of helplessness. But his weapon was truth and belief that God will claim his children, created in his image and likeness. There is no doubt that the Pope, who came to Rome from a distant country, from Poland, made a major contribution to the collapse of the communist system. He teaches us to entrust everything to God, to have hope in him, and to build our world upon eternal values, inscribed in natural law and the gospel. John Paul II followed the logic of the gospel, the logic of merciful love. In response to the great provocations and challenges of the modern world, the Holy Father called for building a civilization of love. He was a defender of authentic marital love, which is open to life, and is the foundation of every family. His encyclical Evangelium Vitae is a great Magna Carta of the Church's teaching on the dignity and sanctity of human life. Pope John Paul II defended life, demanded the right to life for the unborn, those who are the most vulnerable and do not have a voice. After John Paul II's death, we were struck by the call of God's people for the official recognition of His holiness. This desire has already been fulfilled in a very short time, also thanks to the personal involvement of Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis. Holiness in a sense is a synthesis of all that John Paul II was, the attitude he had, how he loved and served. It was an ordinary holiness, lived and attained day after day in prayer and service. But, Pope John Paul II was also a mystic. He was immersed in God. He would stand every day before God, to contemplate the face of God, and God led him to serve the Church and the world. In the saintly Pope, prayer and service intertwined into one. Through his holiness, he drew us all to the ideal of holiness and to our calling to holiness. This is also his legacy. Memory of him is constantly alive in the hearts of millions of Christians around the world. Thank you for supporting my channel. Please like and subscribe. May God bless you and keep you. Saint John Paul the Great, pray for us. Our Lady, Queen of Peace, pray for us.